Sedans may be in decline, but that still hasn't hindered the enormous interest in the all-new Honda Accord. Now, we already reviewed the Accord and went over all of its trim levels in another video. But since a lot of people are interested in just the Sport, probably because it's the best value, we decided to make a special video addressing just that. So let's go ahead and see why the Accord Sport is the trim to get. We would like to specially thank Gates Honda for allowing us to come out and film this review. If you would like to find out more information about their dealership and large inventory of Hondas, then check the video description for both their physical and web addresses. So the Sport trim is available in both the base 1.5 liter engine and the upgraded 2 liter engine. While they are mostly the same, the version with the 2 liter does have more standard equipment than the 1.5 liter we have today. This is the version the vast majority of people will opt for, but keep that in mind if you're looking at the 2 liter. Every Accord comes with the same nice key fob, but on the Sport it is not intelligent, so you actually have to press the button to unlock. Like always, we'll start out the review by checking under the hood. So the big news under the hood is the Accord switch to only turbocharged engines. That means most buyers of any trim will end up with this 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Producing 192 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. Like I already mentioned, the 2 liter engine with a little more standard equipment is available for $4,500. The Sport is also the only trim to offer a 6-speed manual transmission, though a CVT is a no-cost option. Now, in regards to fuel economy, it is nearly class-leading, although the Sport does see a drop relative to the other trims. With the CVT, it is rated at 29 city, 35 highway, 31 combined, while going for the manual Sport nets you 26 city, 35 highway, 30 combined. Well, that concludes the quick powertrain summary, so now let's check out the exterior design and features. For 2018, Honda really upped their styling game and made things much more aggressive. All Accords now have this large black grille, but the Sport is unique in the fact that the top part is dark chrome instead of shiny. That chrome carries over the new LED headlights. The high beams are halogens, but they still have an upscale accurate look to them. And you also have LED fog lamps in a black housing. One of the nicest things about the Sport, in my opinion, are these wheels. Even though this is the second from base trim, you still get really nice looking 19-inch alloys. The only other trim to get 19 inches is the top of the line Touring. The brakes are also bigger on the Sport than on the other trims, at 12.3-inch ventilated disc in the front and 11.1-inch solid disc in the rear. Since the Sport shares most of its equipment with the LX, the mirrors are lacking any feature besides body color and power adjustment. To my eyes, the Accord has much better proportions than the average mid-size front-wheel drive sedan. It's especially noteworthy since the new Accord is actually shorter than the outgoing model, even though it looks much longer. As far as safety ratings, the Accord is one of the highest rated vehicles on the road today. In addition to scoring the best rating of good on every crash test, Honda gives even this lower level sport the entire suite of active safety technologies standard. This includes forward emergency braking, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, traffic sign recognition, and auto high beam headlights. The back of the Accord Sport looks mostly the same as the other trims, all of which are heavily inspired by the Civic. The one difference is a small lip spoiler that the other trims don't get. The taillights have a very interesting shape, one that looks kind of like an animal head to me. Regardless, they are LED on the Sport. The Sport also comes with exposed exhaust outlets, which is something you otherwise have to get the Touring for. The actual tank size is small at 14.8 gallons, but good fuel economy means it still gets 459 miles of range with the CVT and 444 miles with the manual. And that's on regular unleaded fuel. That's it for the outside, so now let's see the all-new interior. Looking inside, of course everything is new relative to the old model, but the Sport's not much different from the other trim levels. This is actually the only color option, for the cloth and leather trim seats. The door trim is mostly composed of black leather. You also have fake unique carbon fiber trim, and the top is padded. The front two windows are one-touch automatic. Another special Sport edition are these aluminum pedals. This is the only trim to have them. Even though this is a lower tier car, you still have a 12-way powered driver's seat with 4-way lumbar. The cloth in the center is soft and high quality, as is the stitched leather on the outside edges. Unfortunately, all Accords play that dorky sound. So like I said, there aren't any real differences between the Sport versus the Touring I was in earlier. That's certainly a good thing considering the price point. Across the entire upper dash, you have all soft touch plastic with a nice graining. And through the middle, you have more of that faux carbon fiber. The other materials are hard touch as expected, but everything fits together really well. To start, press the standard button. The Sport also comes with the upgraded 8-inch display and the newest Honda Link software. So unlike most companies which save digital gauges for only the highest end trims, the Accord has them on the Sport. They are very customizable, and you have more information than the average setup. And if you just want a traditional tach, you can pull that up and you can hardly even tell it's digital. All Accords have variable electric rack and pinion power steering, and you have this nice leather wrapped wheel. You get the full suite of steering wheel buttons on the left side, and the right is for adaptive cruise and safety systems. I also want to point out the paddle shifters. The Sport and Touring trims are the only ones to get them. When it comes to storage, the Accord has more than average. The center console has a sliding tray, and underneath it is a much deeper area than in most midsizers. You do also have a 12-volt outlet. Up in the front, there is another covered area, good for hiding junk, and it too has several connections. The 1.5 liter model gets the traditional shifter. You can shift manually through simulated gears via the standard paddles. When you shift into reverse, a standard backup camera will appear, with dynamic guidelines. You also can select between 3 views. Moving back, we have 2 additional drive modes, Econ for more efficiency and Sport for a bit of sharpening. Sport mode changes the gauge cluster. There is also an electronic parking brake and brake hold feature. Heading up to the Climate, you have the same dual zone setup as you do in the Touring. The layout is very simple to understand, and I like the look and feel of the buttons. They remind me of Audi's. Now let's sample the 8-speaker sound system. Honestly, sound quality is not real good, but this is an entry-level vehicle. For a detailed look at the Honda Link system, check out our dedicated tutorial video. A link is in the description. On the Sport, you have a regular manually dimming mirror. And the top part has a light and sunglass holder. There is no moonroof available for the 1.5 Sport, so you'll have to get the 2-liter for that. So overall, the Accord Sport still has a fantastic cabin. The last Accord we reviewed was a loaded touring model, and I'm really impressed to see most of the features have carried over to this much less expensive model. It's definitely one of the best executed cabins in the class. Now let's check out the rest. The 1.5 The rear door trim is nearly identical to the front, except that the leather is missing the stitching. A silver piece replaces the carbon fiber. Rear space has always been an Accord specialty, and the new one continues that with 40.4 inches of legroom and 37.3 inches of headroom. In case you're wondering, that is more than the new Camry, and just about everything else. The seats themselves are made from the same materials back here, and they are very comfortable. On the sport trim, you won't find any rear air vents, but there is a little cubby. So here's what the legroom looks like with the front seat adjusted to my 5'8" driving position. As you can see, I can almost completely stretch out. On this side, the seat is all the way back, and there is still a ton of space. It definitely feels bigger than a midsize sedan. You do have a leather armrest with 2 built-in cup holders. To pop the trunk, just hold down this button. Like the back seats, the Accord has one of the biggest cargo areas in the class. The actual measurement is 16.7 cubic feet of capacity, which for reference is more than a Mercedes S-Class. And the seats do fold 60-40 split. The passenger seat is manual on almost every trim, including the Sport. The glove box is dampened and large, though it's not felt lined. Well guys, that's it for our focused look at the all-new Honda Accord Sport. Stay tuned for pricing information, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. We'll see you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.